like to call to order the 29th meeting of the Mayor and City Council, meeting in regular session on Monday, April 8th, 2019. I'd like everyone to stand for the invocation led by Reverend Warren Litchfield, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Mayor Mo.
Almighty God, we gather this evening hour to conduct the business of this city. We offer our prayer for our mayor, for the president, for the members of the city council, and for all in authority. Grant them a sense of justice, strength, and wisdom as they perform their duties on behalf of all thy people. We commend to your gracious and care in keeping all the men and women of our armed forces at home and abroad, our fire and rescue and our law enforcement community and thy people. Defend them day by day with your heavenly grace. Strengthen them in their trials and temptations. Give them courage to face the perils that beset them. And grant to each a sense of your abiding presence wherever they may be. Remember those who lie upon a bed of affliction. Comfort those who mourn. In the name of the wondrous Lord of life we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Why don't we get a thing? Why don't you bring a pack of the cupcakes to give to him? All right. We're going to make a quick presentation while Reverend Litchfield is here this evening. Got everybody from Albert, come on up here. Albert is 90 years young. So we couldn't think anything to give him. Come on around this side. I know you're used on that side. Albert has everything that we give out in the city of Laurel, including the key to the city, everything. So we wanted to get something we knew he could use. I think Fred's got a little presentation. Carl, you got a presentation? Yeah. Carl's got a presentation, but we got a card for you, gift certificate in there. But we want to wish you a very happy birthday, many, many more. He is the He has more titles than anybody I know. He is the chaplain for everything, and we appreciate the work that, as I call him, Hulbert has done for many, many years, not only for the city, but the fire department where he got to start, where I got the first meeting. Yep. Yep.
Happy birthday, Valerie.
Oh, we were going to do it now. Wait a minute, hold on. Come on.
So the question was, what do you give the man who has everything? A dozen cupcakes. But we just want you to know, in all seriousness, I've been on the council for 17 years, and you've been there at every one of our meetings and supported this mayor and the council in this city for so many years. And this is one small token of us showing you our love and appreciation for you and your 9 decades, I hear you like to refer to it as. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mr.
And
President.
if I'm not mistaken, your birthday was on the 4th?
Right.
So was mine.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
I went to Pittsburgh this weekend, my hometown, for a fundraiser. But on the way there in Western Maryland, there's a place called Candyland. They have 700 different types of penny candy. I used to pay pennies for it. If you're younger, you don't pay pennies for it. So I got him a nice bag of candy. And then his son told me that he likes these, there's coconut bars. So I got him these coconut bars. I couldn't think anything else that he would like other than that.
No, he couldn't.
Happy birthday.
I just want to say thank you. I'm a chaplain myself.
Okay.
So through all of the years of my being on the city council, you've always prayed for me and words of encouragement. So I want to say thank you.
Bless you. I was appointed mayor by Frank Casula. So that goes back a good many years. Huh? Chaplain. Well, I'm not mayor. God forbid me, I wouldn't want to be mayor. But he appointed me as the chaplain, and I've been there. I'm chaplain for the police department, for the fire department, and I'm retired as a chief chaplain emeritus of the Prince George County Volunteer Fire and Rescue Association. David's sick tonight, and I guess he would probably have been here. Everybody knows everything but me. Thank you. God richest blessings to all.
We'll bring that stuff to
Just bring it down to me.
you. Yeah, we'll get it to you. We will need it. You know what he likes? All right, we'll see you later.
While the mayor is taking care of that, Ms. Rowell, I'll ask you to please call the roll.
Mr. DeWall,
Here.
Mr. Sidnor,
Here.
Ms. Nicholas,
Here.
Mr. Laz,
Here.
President Smalls,
Here.
Mayor Mo.
I'd like to deviate again just a bit from the agenda because we have Lady Spartans in the house. And we'd like to recognize them. Coach Hines, we have some citations that we'd like to present to the ladies, but for those of you who don't know, Lady Spartans have had a heck of a season, 18-7. I think that's something to shout about. But in addition to that, and I think this is more important, I understand that you all have maintained at least a 3.5 GPA or higher. To do that and to play a sport is a real achievement, and we applaud you absolutely for that.
I just want to say, when I graduated from Laurel High School, I'm not going to tell you the year anymore, they wouldn't even let me play on the women's basketball league. That's how bad I was. So I'm glad to see you all here tonight.
Council? I am going to read the presentations. I asked Coach Hines to come up because I don't want to offend anyone by mispronouncing names. So, Coach, we'll start with the first presentation.
Now I have to see it. Okay. You didn't tell me that. Okay. Yeah.
Brandon.
I don't have my
Michael
glasses,
Hines.
so I'm going to let him read it.
Brandon.
Oh, okay. Well, the first one is me. Brandon Hines, former high school standout, JV head coach, son of Coach Michael Hines.
So I'm going to present to both dad and son. I have a presentation for Coach, as well as you, Brandon.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Let's just take a minute.
Brandon.
Okay. Amara Mbionwu, former All-Star for Coach Michael Hines at Bowie High School and graduate and 4-year player at Columbia University.
She was not able to agree with her.
Yeah. Linnell Macklin, former All-Star for Coach Michael Hines at Bowie High School, graduate and 4-year player at Lafayette.
Don't have to Photoshop.
Lisa Jing, graduate and former standout at Laurel High School, graduate, former standout, and current assistant coach at Bowie State University, who is also was unable to come tonight. She's working with Bowie State right now as we speak. And Kevin Grant, who is our scouting coach, who also was unable to make it this evening as well.
All right, we'll have citations and pins for each one of them.
Okay.
And now for the team.
The roster for the 2018-2019 Lady Spartans is Nyla Thomas, freshman.
She got to get a shot. One more. Oh, got it?
Sydney Woodland, senior captain.
She had a little accident there or what?
Accident's a nice way to put it. She's a soldier. She's definitely a soldier. Selena Major, senior. Ariana Spearman, sophomore. She was unable to come tonight. All right. Malika Treadwell, junior. Brittany Holloway, sophomore. Tony Patrick, junior. Hawakita, sophomore.
Mayor.
Amanda Laurent, freshman, but she's not here tonight with us. Maya Lockett, sophomore. Marissa Steele, sophomore captain. Francine Cooper, Jr.
Let's do a group shot. Audrey told me not to touch the microphone in the back. Oh, okay. Which one?
Right on time.
You have to get a late slip because you arrived late, so you get the consolation prize. Come over so we can get a picture.
He said he told me to grab it from the bottom. He heard me in the back too.
You always sit this way, so you're heel. Shift over this way. So we can get
Okay. I'm pretty loud anyway. I think they can hear me. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, to City Council, for giving us this moment to do this for these young ladies. It means a lot. I want to thank all the parents for the time that you put in and giving them to us and letting us do what we do, and the confidence and the trust. And if you've heard, there's a lot of young players. We're losing 2 stars. We're not really losing them. They're always family. But they're going to be away from our court, but they'll be back to support. And with everyone back next year, I think we'll even do a lot better next year. So I'm really proud of their academics as more than the court, but I love both wins. But the academics is most important. That's why we go to school. So I just wanted to tell you thank you for your time. And really thank you guys again. I told you all this, from coaches to players. I know sometimes I've been a little tough with you, but you responded and you took it and you showed why you're champions. So I appreciate that.
Any rebuttal from the players? Don't want to say anything, Captain? All right.
Why you gonna say it like that? I'm not good at this, okay? I just want to thank my team and my coaches a lot for the opportunity, because we were labeled as the underdogs before this season, and that's gonna make me cry. But it took 4 years for us to get this far, and I really depended on you guys, and you guys showed us that we could do it. And I love you guys a lot. And thanks, Coach Hines and Coach Brandon, Coach Amar, Coach Nell, for always believing in me and the team to make it this far.
Thank you all very much. That was great. Thank you. You gotta be able to shoot the basketball.
Yeah, let's give them to the players.
Mayor? Can I have these extra cupcakes
Oh, yeah.
to the players?
Oh, better them than us.
Yes.
So we have some cupcakes that they're going to bring to you all.
I just want to say while cupcakes are being handed out, the city really has a lot to be proud of.
Hey, Kim. Hey, Sarah, let them take them out. Yeah, move to, so we can get our meeting. Give somebody the whole pack.
Cupcakes trumps any other kind of awards or recognition for young people, that's for sure. Okay, we'll move on with our agenda. Approval of minutes of the 28th meeting of March 25th, 2019. Council, if you had an opportunity to review the minutes, if there are any edits, exclusions, deletions, or inclusions. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Les. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Nicholas. Any discussion? Ms. Roberts, please call the roll.
Mr. Laz?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt?
Yes.
Mr. Sidnor?
Yes.
President Smalls?
I vote yes. Agenda item 3 is reported to Mayor and City Council. Tonight we'll start with Councilman DeWalt.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here tonight and have the Lady Spartans here. Although I don't attend the games, I feel like I'm at the games because my friend, Shirley, who is my friend on Facebook, she posts all the games. She posts all the scores. So it's almost like being there because she keeps me informed about what the Lady Spartans are going to do. This past Friday on the 5th, I went and saw my neighbor, Paris, and his band play at Ragamuffins. They're actually pretty good. I was not surprised, but they are very, very good, and they had a nice attendance there. I want to remind everybody on the 9th, tomorrow night, there's a fundraiser with the Cats program up at the Double T Diner from 5 to 9. The Cats program is the organization that if you live within the 20707, 20708, and 20723 area codes, and you have a cat and you want him spayed, neutered, all you do is call them, and it's free. And they'll come for any cat complaints. They get them fixed, and it has done an absolute fabulous job in reducing the cat population in Laurel, especially a lot of the feral cats and stuff that were out there. The next 3 Wednesdays, Laurel Police will be training all the city and the active shooter, and I plan on attending one of those sessions. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Thank you, Councilman DeWalt. Councilman Sidnor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to also congratulate the Lady Spartans of Laurel High School. I refereed many of their JV games, and they had come a very long ways. The Varsity won 18 games, so congratulations to the Laurel Spartans again. On March the 31st, Mr. President, I attended, actually I was a referee for the Special Olympics in Maryland and Frederick. It was a 3-on-3 tournament. I also want to congratulate Coach Dwayne Brody because the Prince George County 3-on-3 Special Olympics won the championship. They had a 13-0 record this year, so congratulations to them as well. Try to get them to come here and acknowledge them as well, Mr. President. Also on April the 3rd, I was invited to Walter Reed Army Institute Research, where they had a program for high school seniors there. Not high school seniors, but high school. The school's host was National Collegiate Prep out of Southeast Washington, D.C. It had 75 high school students there. And I was invited there just to see what the program is about. The program is actually one to get kids that not have an interest in science and technology and math, so they can see the type of jobs that's being done there at the Walter Reed Institute Hospital. And he also has a program, a summer program for a week long. If you attend that program for 1 week, they give you a stipend of $100. The deadline to register for that program is April the 30th. So if you go to gym, summer programs, it'll show up and you can just register for the program you want to go to, whether you're in Maryland, or DC or Virginia, whatever the case may be. So I think that's an excellent opportunity for kids. Once again, kids who do not have an interest in science, they want to get them exposed to that. And it's for 1 week. Deadlines is April the 30th. You get a $100 stipend for the parents for transportation in that case. So something to take advantage of that. And also on August the 6th, we had a town hall meeting with Congressman Anthony Brown. I attended that meeting as well. On August the 6th as well, we had a banquet for the Laurel Lions wrestling team. And then I attended that banquet with the mayor also. That concludes my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Sidnor. Councilwoman Nicholas.
Thank you. On this past Saturday, I attended the statewide river cleanup with my colleagues and the mayor at Riverfront. It was well attended. It was beautiful weather, and I thank all that came out. I just wanted to remind everyone that this is National Volunteer Week. Here in the city, we have a lot of wonderful volunteers, so as we see them, let's give them wonderful greetings. Again, I wanted to congratulate the Lady Spartans, and I also wanted to make a correction because Shirley Bell is known as Dr. Bell. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Nicholas. Councilman Les.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you heard, we had a cleanup at the Riverfront Park this past Saturday, and as Nicholas pointed out, it was well attended. It is interesting to note that our side of the river is relatively clean. The difficulty on the other side of the river is it's a passive park and you can't get to it in the Howard County side. So hopefully they'll correct that at some point in time where people will be able to get access, pick up the trash on that side. There isn't a lot, but there is some. The other thing that was we had was the dedication of the high water mark from 1972 Agnes hurricane, 22.5 feet. And as my grandson would say, that's way up there. Okay. Several of us were around, watched bridges wash away, houses get flooded. We've been very lucky with WSSC over the last 4 decades that they have not taken the tack they took then, which was not to release any water until it was too late. I think they opened up all 10 gates at one time back in 72. You heard about the Lady Spartans from Laurel High School and their recognition. We've got recognition of our schools all over Laurel. The St. Mary's Middle School, which is part of the elementary school, participated in a program called MESA, Mathematics, Engineering, Science Achievement, sponsored by Johns Hopkins. Those grades were given different projects to work on, and they competed with public and private schools across Prince George's County. And at St. Mary's, the 7th and 8th grade teams came in 1st and 3rd in their competition group, and they'll go on to the state. So there's a lot of good things happening with our young people around Laurel in all different schools. And finally, Chris Brandt, kindergarten teacher at St. Mary's since 1985, won one of the 10 Golden Apple Awards for the Archdiocese. This is given to 10 teachers in the Archdiocese every year. I think the Washington Post still does their awards too for teachers. And so again, congratulations to all these teachers and students and parents. They're all doing a great job with our young people. And finally, I want to wish Tariq Owens, a 2014 graduate of Pilate High School. He has his undergraduate degree already from St. John's. He's working on his master's degree now at Texas Tech, and he'll be starting tonight at about 9:15 for the and that's not a well-known fact because he's a quiet young man, very quiet. But you want to see, it's going to be an interesting game because they're both defensive teams. And so we wish them all good luck in the game tonight. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Liz. I'm just going to comment briefly and sort of support and encourage Councilman Sidnor in talking about the Walter Reed STEM program, the week-long program. One of my grandsons participated in that program last summer, and he loved it. In fact, he loved it so much that he stayed there for about 3 more weeks without the pay. So that gives you an indication of how interested and how interesting the program actually is. So I would certainly encourage any students, family members who want to encourage their students to participate in a worthwhile program. That's certainly one of many. Before I pass to Mayor Mo, I'd like for us all to take a moment of silence in honor of House of Delegates Speaker Michael Bush, who passed away yesterday. As of close of business today, there hadn't been any arrangements made, but the governor did order the flags to be lowered, the Maryland flags to be lowered at half-staff. So if we could take a moment of silence. Thank you. Mayor Mo?
Thank you, Mr. President, and I appreciate you taking that moment of silence. My comments are condolences to the family and friends of Maryland House Speaker Michael Bush. Speaker Bush was a good friend to this city, good friend to many that are sitting up here. He is an individual that was devoted to Maryland and making the system work and work better for the people of Maryland. I consider Speaker Bush a friend. I got to know him through my brother when he was a member of the House of Delegates. But more importantly, as he realized I was an elected official, he always asked about Laurel, always asked about how things were going. If we needed anything, please come see him. And any time that we did go and see Speaker Bush, he was always there for us. And I want to acknowledge and make sure everyone knows that he was a true friend to the city of Laurel and working with us as well as many others. He will truly be missed. The Central Maryland Chamber of Commerce Spirit Community Awards Dinner, which is why I wasn't here at the last meeting. I attended. We had some of our public safety officials that were honored. We want to thank the Chamber for that. It was a well-attended event and really appreciate the invitation to be with them and congratulate all those award recipients. The Community United event that was held at the Islamic Community Center of Laurel was an opportunity to bring people together from all walks of life, and didn't matter where you came from in Laurel or what you believed in. They had their doors open for us on March the 30th. It was well organized, and we appreciate the Islamic community's efforts to reach out to the community and pay respect for those that were lost in gunfire. On April the 1st, we did put our first solar bench at the Emancipation Community Park. Please take a look at that. I want to thank Joanne Barr, our Department of Park and Recreations, and her staff for finding such a bench. It was it's near the basketball courts there. If you take a look at it, it's for seating, but then you can also, there's a big solar panel. You can plug your devices in and recharge. With that said, I want to remind everybody you need to take your own cords. We do not have cords there. We're going to try this out, see how it works, and then maybe put several others around the city as well. But take a look at that. And again, Joanne, thank you and your staff for your efforts on solar. We've really been trying to push more solar community-wide, but also here in the city government as well. You did hear about the Patuxent River Cleanup Day at Riverfront Park. Again, Joanne and the many volunteers that attended. We also unveiled the high water mark signage that's down in Riverfront Park. I want to thank Steve Allen for that. And again, Joanne, I want to thank your staff for working with us to clean up the Patuxent River area and all those volunteers that came out. I did have the opportunity to attend Congressman Anthony Brown Town Hall meeting at the Laurel Library, as you heard with Councilman Sidnor and Councilman Les, and well attended and very informative, and took quite a few questions, and then even stayed longer to talk with those individuals after the meeting. And we appreciate his support and him being here in Laurel. As you heard, Councilman Sidnor and I attended the Laurel Lions Club banquet and award ceremony there. They had it at College Park. It was here in Laurel last year. Do an outstanding job of really working with those kids and making all of them champions. And it's not really about a trophy, but it's developing the mind, not only the body, but the mind as well. And Steve Overton does a very nice job, and I was very happy to be there. The My Time with the Mayor was held this evening. It's our first. Had roughly about 5 individuals come in. I appreciate those individuals stopping by, and others. If you look on the calendar, there'll be others out there as well. I think at the work session, we talked a little bit about the sewer overflow incident that occurred on March the 30th. I want to thank Steve Allen. I just received this tonight, but this is a fact-finding investigation. I had the opportunity yesterday to talk with the CEO of WSSC, and we have a follow-up meeting next week with her and her staff at their facility. One of the agenda items will be the notification and the things that are happening in the city, and making sure that we're notified, as well as a few other things that we need to talk to WSSC about. I appreciate Steve's hard work on this, and after I get it, Mr. President, we'll make sure nothing confidential in here, Steve, or we'll make sure council gets a copy as well. But again, I just received it tonight before I came on board, and I know Steve's been working very hard to find out what's been going on, and in some cases been on the phone all day. So I look forward to reading this, and we'll make sure you all get it as well. A couple of announcements on April the 13th, the extravaganza at Goody Park and Lake. That's at 1 p.m. sharp. Laurel Lions Club are also sponsoring this as well. They have every year, and we appreciate all the work that they do. It starts at 1, and at 2 minutes after 1, it's over. That's how quick it moves. Those kids are quick. Not really. It moves quick. But that's open to everybody. It's a great opportunity to bring your kids out, and on the 13th, this Saturday. On the 17th of April, we'll have a City Hall in the park, which will be held at Emancipation Community Park at 6:30. That's our first of the year. On April the 18th, Arbor Day tree planting and at the Christian Academy of Laurel, formerly the First Baptist Church, up on First Baptist Lane at 10 a.m. And on April the 18th, the Economic Community Development Resource Fair at the Laurel Library from 5:30 until 7:30 will take place. And then one of our biggest, April the 20th, is our electronics and paper shredding event at the Department of Public Works, and that starts at 8 a.m. And if you live in the city, you'll need to make sure you have ID just in case. It's for city residents. And with that, Mr. President, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Agenda item 4 is the general public hearing. I'll open the general public hearing at 7:39. I have no one signed up to speak during the general public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Seeing no one, I'll close. Please come to the mic, give your name and address for the record, please. just press and hold the green light. There you are.
Sherlyn Powell, 900 West Street. My issue is WSSC. Back up. Okay. My issue is with WSSC with the notifications, and I heard Mayor Mo said that they're addressing that. We were not notified until we were sitting in our living room. They would knock on the door and say, hey, we need to tear up your front. So to me, that was kind of, if I hadn't been home or my husband hadn't been home, we wouldn't have got that notification. We also had to park on 9th Street with no notification. They would just tell us to move our vehicles. Also, my water bill is from $200 to $600. So I need to know if that was a cause from that, thing that they were working on, because I've seen them hit the pipes and the water goes everywhere. It's cleaned up now. They redid our driveway. They also redid our street. But because of that, our water bill is extremely high. So I did have a call into WSSC. I haven't received any information back from them. But if you're looking into it, we'd just like to know what's going on.
Mayor?
If you could get a copy of your bill and information for us, drop it off either to my office or Bill Goddard, our city administrator's office. And it needs to be, we meet next week. We meet next week, so I'd like to have that when we meet with them.
Okay,
That's the
no
case.
problem.
We'll see what we can find out.
I'll make sure I get that to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
President.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak during the general public hearing? Seeing no one, I'll close the general public hearing at 7:41. Agenda item 5, recommendations. Consideration of a recommendation to award open-ended contracts, hazardous mitigation support services. Mr. Allen?
Good evening again, Mayor, President Smalls, and council members. Again, no change from Wednesday night's presentation. This is to allow the city to have a group of vendors at the ready that will meet all 4 of our main emergency management areas within the city, so we can go to them for specific projects. And that's there again, it covers mitigation issues, preparedness issues, response issues, and recovery issues. So take any questions anybody has.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. As Mr. Allen mentioned, this was discussed at our work session. And council, if there are no questions for Mr. Allen, I'll entertain a motion.
President, I move for approval.
Thank you, Councilman Les. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilman DeWalt. Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Rao, will you please call for the vote?
Mr. Les?
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt?
Yes.
Mr. Sidnor?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
President Smalls?
I vote yes. Agenda item 7 is legislation. Second public hearing with possible action on resolution number 4-19, a resolution of the Meriden City Council of Laurel to adopt design guidelines consistent with all applicable federal and state laws for the siting, construction, installation, co-location, modification, relocation, operation, and removal of wireless technology and associated equipment within the city's public right-of-way. I read the title into the record for the second reading. I'll open the public hearing at 7:43. I have no one signed up to speak on this agenda item. Is there anyone who'd like to speak? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing at 7:43. And what's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve resolution 4-19.
I have a motion. Is there a second, council?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilman DeWalt. Any discussion? Mayor?
I don't think so, but I wanted to at least again state for the record that there could be possible changes again that may come up that we will forward to the council, as this is ever-changing process. So I just wanted to make sure you all were aware of that.
Thank you, Mayor. Agenda item 7B is introduction and first public hearing on ordinance.
Mr. President, we need to call the
I'm
roll.
sorry, I didn't. I'm trying to get home to dinner. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, we do have a motion in a second.
I just totally lost it, didn't I? Yeah, the mayor threw me off there. We have a motion in a second. Mayor did the discussion part. Now, would you call the roll?
Mr. Sidnor,
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt,
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas,
Yes.
Mr. Les,
Yes.
President Smalls,
I vote yes.
Mayor Mo.
I'll concur. Thank you.
Okay. Agenda item 7B, introduction and first public hearing on ordinance number 1940, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, to concur with the City of Laurel Planning Commission for the revised conceptual site plan for the West Side mixed-use development. The property is zoned MXT and is located off West Side Boulevard and Van Dusen Road, Laurel, Maryland, 20707. I read the title into the record for the first reading. I'll open a public hearing at 7:45. I have no one signed up to speak. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing at 7:45. A second public hearing with possible action will be held at the Mayor and City Council meeting on Monday, April 22nd at 7 o'clock p.m. Agenda item 7C, introduction and first public hearing on ordinance number 1941, text amendment number 251, an ordinance to amend Chapter 20, Land Development and Subdivision, Article 1, Zoning, Division 1, Definitions, Section 20-1.87, and Division 5, Zoning Districts, Section 20-6.13 of the City of Laurel Unified Land Development Code, and providing an effective date. I've read the title into the record for the first reading. I'll open a public hearing at 7:46. I have no one signed up to speak on this agenda item. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing at 7:47. Second public hearing with possible action will take place at the Mayor and City Council meeting on Monday, April 22nd, 2019 at 7 o'clock p.m. Agenda item 7D is the introduction and first public hearing on ordinance number 1942, text amendment number 253, an ordinance to amend the Laurel Unified Land Development Code, Chapter 20, Land Development and Subdivision, Article 1, Zoning, Division 5, Zoning District, Section 20-1.7, Section 20-6.13, Section 20-7.8 of the City Code to allow for tourist homes and providing an effective date. I've read the title into the record for the first reading. I'll open a public hearing at 7:48. I have no one signed up to speak on this agenda item. Is there anyone who, Mayor Mo?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think it's important. We've not heard from any of the council regarding this on some amendments. We are going to try to get a couple of the council members in at a time, two at a time or so, to talk to you about this. I feel it's important we get something on the books, but there were a lot of questions and concerns. I think we can work them out, but I really, hopefully this week and maybe next week, first part of next week, we'll try to get a couple of council members in and get some information so we can get some amendments to you for the meeting.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'd like to make a comment, Mr. President.
Councilman DeWalt?
I'm glad we're going to have some meetings on this because I'm still not convinced that by passing this, it seems like the reason we're passing it is because these things already exist in our community, and we just want to put some regulations with it. And I know we have some very fine hotels in the city and in around the city. We have one of the prettiest old homes that was renovated on Montgomery Street that is now a bed and breakfast. And the regulations on these hotels and this bed and breakfast, there's a lot of them. A lot of regulations, a lot of safety things, and I still am not convinced that for as many of these tourist homes that pop up, if you're not familiar with the term tourist home, it's these Airbnbs where people are coming in and staying at people's homes. And the whole thing is for them to get up to code or meet the code where these visitors are going to be safe, it takes a lot. And that's what the restaurants have to do. And I mean, the motels have to do and the bed and breakfast have to do. And they paid a lot of money for those regulations and to follow those regulations. And I think it's just going to put a burden on our fire marshal division to even add more work to them. We're going to get complaints, which was already expressed, about parking issues, where I believe it's going to create parking issues in places that we relish every little parking place in some of our communities because there's so many cars out there now. I think it's just going to tax our services to no end, and I'm still not convinced by it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman DeWalt. Mayor Mo?
Thank you, and I appreciate the councilman's comments, and that's actually why we want to try to get everyone in. I think there's a misunderstanding of what tourist homes are and what they do, and we want to explain that. I think it's really about a benefit. Although they are occurring here, we will take care of those individuals through our inspection process. But I think a tourist home, I think there are benefits to having those here in the city, and which is why I think it's important for all of us, to sit down at the table and see what you can work out. It is entirely different from a hotel or motel or our bed and breakfast, and that's what we really want to sit down and explain to everyone. So I appreciate the comments and look forward to working with them. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor, and we look forward to scheduling those meetings so we can hash some of this out. If there's no one else to speak on this agenda item, I'll close the public hearing at 7:52. A second public hearing with possible action will be held at the Mayor and City Council meeting on Monday, April 22nd, 2019 at 7:00 p.m. Agenda item 7E is the introduction and first public hearing on resolution number 5-19, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, for the purpose of establishing a volunteer code of conduct for all City Laurel volunteers. I read the title into the record for the first reading. I'll open the public hearing at 7:52. I have no one signed up to speak on this agenda item. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing at 7:52. A second public hearing with possible action will be held at the Mayor and City Council meeting on Monday, April 22nd, 2019 at 7:00 p.m. That concludes our agenda. Mayor Mo.
Thank you, Mr. Red. I just got a message from Audrey reminding me. I forgot. The water pledge. We want to remind everybody to go online, www.mywaterpledge.com. Sign up it's a voluntary program, but we're working to make sure everybody in Laurel signs up for that. So please take the opportunity to do that as well. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. And just before I tap the gavel, I will remind everyone of our Keep Kids Alive Drive 25 campaign. Hopefully you're riding around the city and you see those signs beginning to pop up in different places. It's a reminder in association with our police department to remind motorists to keep their speeds down, particularly as we're coming toward Easter break. Kids are going to be out of school. We're coming towards soon our summer breaks. So these signs are reminders to keep your speed limits down to 25 miles an hour, or at least the posted speed limits in the neighborhoods you're driving. With no other business to come before the mayor and city council, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.